Well, as much as we believe in Trump, he's done more good than any other president prior to them even stepping into the Oval Office. And I do believe his intentions are what he says they are. I've been reporting on every single bankster, so-called bankster or Wall Street friend, if you will, that he's appointed to some position one way or the other. And one of the first ones, which I talked about when he was back on his campaign trail, which was Mr. Steven Mnuchin. And he was a former Goldman friend, whatever, Goldman Sachs friend. Then he went and did his own thing, worked for a company, West something, I think it's in here. One West. They did a ton of foreclosures. Again, we're supposed to be helping the people. Trump's picking this guy who, of course, is doing these massive foreclosures on people. And there was over 1,000 things that they did wrong that the Attorney General of the state of California, where he was at, could have and should have done against him and or his company, at least, as far as fines or some kind of action. And it turns out, according to Zero Hedge, as I'm about to read to you, he gave a little donation to that particular, I guess, Attorney General or whatever. And, it says Steven Mnuchin donated to one Democrat in 2016. And that was the woman who declined to prosecute his bank. Now, granted, like I said at first, he was doing all these, gung-ho about foreclosure. Just get him out of the way, prosecute, we're not waiting, not prosecute, but go forward, foreclose. And one could argue, well, Jay Snip, he's running a banking business, correct? Yes. In which they give out mortgages, correct? Yes. And those people clearly have stopped paying their mortgages, correct? Yes. Therefore, he has the right to foreclose. Is that correct? Yes, it is correct. So you can't really slam him for that. But there were people protesting at his multi-million dollar house in California when that was happening. Not talking about, this is way before Trump even thought about running, a few years ago. Protesting at his house. Okay? But aside from that, the state found his company was doing something wrong, which we'll get to in a minute, I guess, in here, but declined to do anything about it. So he is playing the game that all the politicians play, all the banksters play. So again, this does concern me. I hope we're not about to get more of the same. But if we were about to get more of the same, would he have been doing the things he's doing after he already got the nod on November 9th? He was already making deals with the automakers and Carrier, the air conditioning company, made another one with Ford. Ford, bring that stuff back here. Okay, we're not going to do it in Mexico as we thought. Mexican peso plunges. They raised the gas tax 70 cents on a liter or something. The government people are stealing. And, I showed you that. I talked about that video just the other day. That just happened, by the way. And now we have a embassy, somebody getting shot by a lone gunman somewhere over there in Mexico. Didn't kill him, just injured him. Like, what the hell's going on? But this is why on J Snip 4 is a what Gerald Celente calls himself. I too call myself a political atheist, meaning Democrat, Republican. I don't believe in either of those two religions. Okay. So as they said here on Zero Hedge, Wednesday's post, Donald Trump has an enormous and very dangerous Wall Street blind spot. That's what they talked about on Wednesday. Highlighted the fact that the bank run by Trump's Treasury Secretary nominee, Mr. Steven Mnuchin, was given a free pass by California Attorney General Kamala Harris, despite the discovery of over 1,000 legal violations. Kamala Harris has since been, and they put elected with an S in front of it, like selected to the U.S. Senate. Let's recap some of what we learned. In the memo, the leaders of the state attorney general's consumer law section said they had uncovered evidence suggestive of widespread misconduct in a year-long investigation. In a detailed 22-page request, they identified over 1,000 legal violations in the small subsection, which I'm going to refer to as my favorite subsection C, of One West loans they were able to examine, and they recommended that Attorney General Kamala Harris file a civil enforcement action against the Pasadena-based bank. They even wrote up a sample legal complaint seeking injunctive relief and millions of dollars in penalties. But Harris's office, without any explanation, declined to prosecute the case. Senator Ron Wyden, the top Democrat on the Senate Finance Committee, warned, given Mr. Mnuchin's history of profiting off the victims of predatory lending, I look forward to asking him how his Treasury Department will work for Americans who are still waiting for the economic recovery to show up in their communities. The consistent violations of California foreclosure processes outlined in the memo would indicate that Mnuchin's bank didn't merely act callously, but did so with blatant disregard for the law. According to the memo, One West also obstructed the investigation by ordering third parties to refuse to comply with state subpoenas. The memo also raises questions about then California Attorney General Kamala Harris, who was sworn in as a U.S. Senator on Tuesday, and who will soon have a vote on Mnuchin's appointment. Why did her office close the case, decided not to conduct a full investigation of a national bank's misconduct and provide a public accounting of what happened, as her own investigators had urged? Well, in the days since the story broke, there's been a lot of well-deserved scrutiny pointing in the direction of Miss Harris, yet she's failed to provide a satisfactory answer as to why her office failed to prosecute, which got me to thinking about another paragraph from the above article. Harris's prodigious fundraising also raises questions about how attentive she is to the needs of campaign contributors. Prior to signing on with Trump, Mnuchin donated to members of both parties. He gave $2,000 to Harris's Senate campaign in February 2016. Among the investors in One West Bank was major Democratic donor George Soros, who maxed out to Harris her campaign in 2015. Did he really donate to members of both parties? Technically, yes, but it appears Kamala Harris was the only Democrat he donated to in 2016, which raises all sorts of obvious questions. As the Sacramento Bee noted last month in its article, Kamala Harris won over many Californians, Steve Mnuchin included. Donald Trump, promising to drain the swamp, picked former Goldman Sachs executive and Hollywood financier Steven Mnuchin to be his Treasury Secretary, fitting because Mnuchin helped fatten Trump's campaign treasury as his campaign finance chairman. Mnuchin donated $500,000 to Republicans in 2016, including $430,000 to Trump. Federal Election Commission records show. A one-time Hillary Clinton donor, Mnuchin gave one donation this year to a Democrat, $2,000, to help elect Attorney General Kamala Harris to the U.S. Senate. Well, isn't that interesting? Mnuchin gives one donation to a single Democrat, and it just so happens to be the woman who inexplicably protected his bank from prosecution. Click here to see his 2016 donations, and that's from Zero Hedge. I don't even think it even matters. While $2,000 is certainly a small amount of money, the entire thing stinks. Kamala Harris should resign from her Senate seat immediately, unless she can provide a reasonable explanation of why she let One West off the hook. Likewise, Steven Mnuchin should be replaced by Trump as Treasury Secretary nominee. Both are swamp creatures, and we should demand better than these two. I, JSnip4, approve that message for sure. I've been saying it too. Why can't he pick somebody else? And we keep telling ourselves, this is nonsense, but we keep telling ourselves, maybe he's got a plan. He's picking these people so that they'll get past, appointment. Okay, the Senate will approve them. Next one, okay, he's approved, so we can get these people in there. He doesn't want to pick the super conservative or whatever people that are really on his side because they'll never get appointed. He won't be able to do anything. We keep telling ourselves that. But damn it, I don't know if I can sit here and try to pretend to fool myself and you. Not that I'm trying to fool you, but they're trying to fool us collectively. And by me repeating some of the stuff that they say or they do, you could argue, well, Jay Snip, you've been talking, Trump's the right guy. And that's true. I keep saying that. So, again, we have to sit back and wait and see what happens. One other thing I tell myself is maybe, just maybe, he wants some of these people who do these things to be responsible to restoring America to what it used to be. Again, making it great again. And to say, hey, these are the people who had a part in screwing us over a little bit from here to there. Some of my picks, so to speak. And now I got them in the positions to fix, to right their wrongs. Boy, would I love to believe that if Trump came out and gave us a line like that. He wouldn't dare do so until he's fully in that office. Now, as you know, had huge concerns myself, did numerous videos from November to December, and even most recently I talked about January 6th. It's the day they got to certify the Electoral College votes. I know they're going to try to stop it through objecting to it, which requires a House of Representative member and a Senate member to sign off on the complaint or objection, and then they have to have a recess for 2 hours and then vote on it. They couldn't even get one Democrat in the Senate to go with them, which is extremely odd to me. And I saw Rat Ryan up there next to Joe Biden as Joe Biden was hitting the mallet down, telling these liberal Democratic congresswomen, nope, subsection C, etc., etc. How's that my little Willy Wonka thing said? You do not have a signature from the Senate. It does not count. This is not a debate. End of it. It's over. Boom. It's over. And then Paul Ryan behind him was cracking up laughing, which made me actually tickled me a little bit. But I've also seen other things that Rat Ryan stood behind too. So, again, I always look back at this and say, this is what Jesse Ventura called it, as simple as it was. Jesse Ventura. Government is like pro wrestling. There's no left, there's no right, there's no real good guys and bad guys. They're all entertainers. They work together for the same purpose. They're making tons of money. They're having a great time, and people are being entertained to hell and back again. They love it. They hate each other on screen and when they're battling in the ring, but afterwards they're in the same limos going out to party and have a good time together and talk about what a good show they put on. So why would Paul Ryan, be laughing and cracking up at the Democrats not getting their way because they can't get a single Senate vote to sign off on that or whatever? When, in fact, Paul Ryan, remember when he took over from John Boehner, I said, hey, here's your new boss. Just like the old boss, right? Meet the new boss, same as the old boss. And they had this whole half-hearted attempt to get rid of Obamacare. We're going to put it up didn't even get passed. Okay, but let's move on. What the hell was that? But now all of a sudden that Trump's getting in there, now all of a sudden Paul Ryan's like a different man, and I don't get this. I just don't get this. I can only hope, again, and you know me, I don't smoke hope-ium. But something's happening where I have to say, I hope at least some kind of way, little bit, that there is a freaking message or whatever to his madness, method to his madness, Trump that is, of why he's picking these people that have the Wall Street history. Oh, they're the brightest in the room. They're the smartest guys. They've done criminal activity and they got away with it. They pay little fines and fees and get out. Let me just give you some campaign money. Have a nice day. $2,000 is all it took. $2,000 is all it took to get him off a multi-million-dollar settlement / lawsuit against people. $2,000. If you'd asked those people, hey, by the way, he gave her $2,000. We need to come up with $5,000. Can you guys scrape up a couple dollars so we can give this lady, the prosecutor, a little bonus, or excuse me, not a bonus, a campaign contribution, so that she will prosecute this guy? I'm sure they would have done it in a heartbeat. You would have scraped up $5,000 with a whole bunch of people pitching in who want justice. Hey, you illegally foreclosed on us. You didn't do this right. That's why we're complaining. Sorry. But the other side is all, and I mean all, every single bank, even not the too big, the smalls, all banks that were foreclosing on people and have been foreclosing since the crisis in 2008 have all been doing it the same way Remember Bank of America and all the big banks got together and had to pay like 20 something, 40, 50 trillion, billion dollars. They had to all pitch in because they were robo-signing, getting fake stamps, fake signatures. And then immediately after that, they were doing it again. And I said then why they're doing it again. Because the reason they did it in the first place wasn't because they were doing it to be jerks. They don't have the proper paperwork. They cannot get the proper signatures anymore. The people are gone. The companies are gone. Whatever the story, they can't get it. So legally, they can't file the lawsuit, which is a foreclosure. In judicial states, it's a foreclosure. A foreclosure is a lawsuit, like Florida. So they just faked it. Fake it till you make it, stamp it, sign it, have a nice day. So they got their little fine. So everybody was doing it. And again, you could argue if they didn't do that and all these people got their houses, the banks would be in even more trouble financially than they were and are by a much larger degree, because all these people would be getting their houses for free because the banks don't have the legal standing to foreclose. And then it would start an epidemic where everybody else decides, I'm going to stop paying mine too because you guys are all getting free houses. I can afford it, but I'm just going to stop anyways because this is bullcrap. And you'd have an epic economic destruction by that event alone. So you could argue that even though they did it the wrong way, they had to collect those houses back. Me, on the other hand, as you know, I fought mine and got a little settlement to stop suing, to stop fighting them in court. And I agreed. Give me my money. I'm out. And then a funny thing happened earlier in 2016. I was getting letters from the bank. Your loan's being transferred. My loan, I settled with you morons. I don't know, about 6-7 months ago? Whatever. Maybe there's slow paperwork or something. Nope. Now the new one. What was the new one? Carrington Mortgage Services. You owe this loan. You're behind this date. Yada, yada, yada. I had to send them a letter in writing, certified mail. I settled this with Bank of America. I can't just give you the agreement because it's confidential. The actual specifics are, anyways. But here's their lawyer's information that handled the case. They would be able to vouch for this. Nope. Reply to your request. You contacted us and you didn't sign it. And we can only talk to the homeowner who we have a signature on file for. So we need you to send back that request or that statement to us, which was me disputing the debt, saying it's not mine, talk to the lawyer, in writing and sign it. No, I'm not signing it. I already sent you a letter and I gave you the information for you to check in with their lawyer to end this. Now they've knocked my credit score down 118 points because I have as if I have a second foreclosure. So I told you I was going to send them a settlement demand, and I was getting it ready. And I said, I was going to send both Bank of America and Carrington Home Services because you are trying to collect on a debt that doesn't even exist from me. I've already told you in writing, don't contact me on this. I dispute the validity of this debt. And then they sent me a letter back. Here's the documents you requested. I didn't request any documents, but then I said, well, wait a minute, I did dispute the debt. That's probably what they're sending me. There was nothing but a letterhead and the typical, legal stuff of jargon. No documents whatsoever, which I have saved, by the way. I thought to myself, my lawyer that I used at the time charged a one-time fee, and this is only for Florida and in certain areas within Florida, like maybe Orlando, Tampa-ish. And I've sent quite a few people his way as people would hear me talk and say, oh, I live in Florida. Can you send? Yeah, no problem. Here's his contact. If you do not live in the state of Florida, do not ask me, by the way. Oh, who is he? It doesn't matter if you're not in Florida. You have to be in Florida. And there's only certain counties that he works for, I think, or works in, but they are spread out a bit, so they will do it in Florida. But I said, man, I got charged a one-time fee, and then when we wanted to put Bank of America's people on the stand, so to speak, get a deposition, he told me it's going to cost you a couple grand to do that. But I have a feeling they're not going to want to do it in the worst kind of way, and we'll see what kind of leverage we can get. Immediately upon sending that letter, I gave him $2 more grand. Here you go. They balked. We want to settle. We don't want to fight anymore. Cash for keys, and here's a large settlement offer. Larger than normal, I should say. We took it. But I thought to myself, he did such a good job. I didn't pay him monthly. I paid him every great once in a while when he had to do something extraordinary. like that. I only had to send him money like 2 different times, and it wasn't a lot. And I thought, oh my gosh, a few months of my mortgage payments covered all the money I sent him. Okay, never mind. I've been in my house for years now. And then he kept me in there another 2 years. Well worth it. I said, let me just email him or call him. I told him what happened. I called him. He says, yeah, you actually have a case right now. We could file this in federal court right now. You absolutely have a case. You don't have to do anything else. I said, well, here's the thing. And I thought about this. I said, first of all, are you interested in doing this? Because if not, I was going to send both banks a settlement demand. He says, oh, no, yeah, I think let me talk to the lawyer, because he was like his assistant. And yeah, I think we may want to do this. I said, okay. And I said, by the way, the settlement demand, I have an idea. I told him. I don't know if I've told you guys this the other day, but I thought about it when this happened, and I said it. I said, look, I've got this foreclosure now on my record, on my credit score report. I have nothing else on my credit report right now that's bad, just that. And it shows Bank of America last year, whatever. It's a little nick on there, but my credit's already been built right back up. It's almost a 700 until I got hit the other day, minus 118 by Carrington. So I said, what I'm willing to do if they're willing to remove my foreclosure, the real one, the original, of course they've got to fix the second one from Carrington. That doesn't even belong there. But get rid of them so that my credit report is essentially clean, like it never happened. I'd be willing to settle that in lieu of any kind of cash settlement payment. And you guys deserve a little lawyer fee that they'd have to pay for as well. Typical. They'd get that anyways if we went to court. He said, we can definitely ask for that. I said, okay, I'm going to send you this. He said, give me all the paperwork, scan it all. I scanned every single document. I kept everything they mailed me. Times that I called, they talked to me. This is what was said. And I can't wait to see where this goes. Because I could be thousands and thousands, multiple thousands of dollars richer for every time they've contacted me, sent me a letter, tried to collect a debt that wasn't valid. I've got it all logged. I've realized it's thousands. But I also thought to myself, do I need those thousands? Or should I rather get this foreclosure completely off my credit report? And then I have nothing. I have fantastic credit again with no foreclosure history. So I could go out and get a loan as soon as I needed to if I want, if need be. Because like I told you, I'd like to get rid of all my silver or whatever when the time comes, when the price is right, and go buy house cash. And of course, with the rates that are going to be rising, as you've seen already, housing prices are going to come back down, especially on higher end real estate, as Cliff I correctly predicted. But I did think, what if that sweetheart deal comes over here in the very near future, and silver's not where I want it to be, and I do not want to sell any of my silver, but there's a damn nice deal over there that I'd really freaking like to have right now. Oh, sorry, you have foreclosure on your record. We need you to keep doing good for the next year and a half, 2 years. It's already been it's been 1 year now. They say usually at the very minimum 2 years is when you can do it. But even then, you're going to get a higher interest rate, things like that. So I thought in lieu of that another settlement, how about we remove the foreclosure as if it never happened? I will keep you up to date with that. Take care.